Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we are going to be putting on our detective hats and kind of doing a deep dive into
Yeah.
a property inspection report
That's right.
um, for a renovated row house in Baltimore.
Okay.
And you might be thinking, renovated? That means it's good to go, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Well, not so fast.
Not so fast.
Our expert today is going to tell us why.
Well, what's so interesting about this particular case is that we have a homeowner who thought they were buying a practically new house.
Right.
And then they got a property inspection report from KMA Associates, Inc.
Uh-oh.
that reads like a home renovation horror story.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
And the best part is...
we get to be the detectives piecing together all the clues from this report.
Okay, so where should we start? What's the first mystery?
Well, let's start with a leaky shower on the second floor.
Okay.
Okay, so picture this. You're enjoying a relaxing shower, and suddenly, water starts dripping from the kitchen ceiling lights downstairs.
Oh.
Not exactly what you would expect in a renovated home, right?
No, that's a renovation nightmare.
Yeah, so the report points to two likely suspects.
Okay.
Either the shower tiles weren't properly sealed, letting water seep through,
Oh.
or the shower valve itself has a problem.
Okay, so how do we even begin to solve this case of the dripping shower?
Well, the report suggests we need to do a little bit of detective work
Okay.
behind the walls
Oh,
to pinpoint the source of the leak.
right.
They recommend cutting into the drywall,
Oh, no.
either in the kitchen ceiling or the wall behind the shower.
So you're telling me that after they just bought this renovated home,
Yeah.
they have to rip open the walls?
Potentially, yes.
That's not ideal.
No, not at all.
This report really highlights how crucial it is to have skilled professionals handling your renovation.
Absolutely.
I mean, this leaky shower situation is a
Yes.
perfect example of how skimping on a skilled plumber up front can lead to a whole flood of expenses later on.
Right. Like they say, penny wise and pound foolish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to mystery number 2.
Okay.
It's a little bit eerie, even for a seasoned detective like myself.
All right, let's hear it.
We have a vent in the upstairs bathroom
Okay.
that decides to leak,
Oh.
but only when it rains.
Only when it rains.
Yes.
Okay.
So the inspector wasn't able to access the roof because of high winds.
Oh, right.
But they did suggest starting by checking the vent cap for any damage or blockage.
Yeah, think of it like a hat on your chimney.
Okay.
If the hat is damaged or blocked, rain can seep in.
Okay, so let's say that vent cap is perfectly fine.
Right.
Where else do we begin to look for other entry points for this water?
Well, that's where the detective work gets really interesting.
Okay.
It could be the flashing around the vent pipe,
Right.
damaged shingles, maybe even something else entirely.
So that's going to take a little more investigation.
A little more digging, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, before we get too lost in the attic, let's move on to a clue that might seem small, but could be a sign of bigger problems.
All right.
A cracked and broken threshold in the second floor bathroom.
Ah, yes.
Now, you might think a broken threshold is just a cosmetic issue,
You might.
but it actually could be a sign of movement or improper installation,
Exactly, yeah.
which raises some serious questions about the quality of the renovation work.
Right. If they messed up something as basic as a threshold,
Right.
what else did they cut corners on?
Makes you wonder if this entire renovation was built on a foundation of shortcuts.
Right,
So even though it might not seem as dramatic as a leaky shower,
right.
this seemingly minor detail could end up being the key to unlocking a much bigger mystery.
Exactly.
Okay, last clue before we take a break
Okay.
to gather our thoughts.
All right.
The report mentions drafty windows,
Drafty windows, okay.
especially around the upstairs bedroom windows.
Oh, the classic drafty window. You would think in a newly renovated house that wouldn't even be on the radar.
Right.
But this just goes to show you, looks can be deceiving. The report suggests a fix involving something called shimming the jambs,
Okay.
which basically means adjusting the window frame to seal those gaps.
And that sounds like a job for a professional.
I would say so, yes.
I would want to mess around with my windows and end up making the drafts worse.
Right. Window installation is more complex than it seems.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle.
Right.
Every piece has to fit perfectly for it to work properly.
Exactly.
And if those pieces aren't aligned just right, you end up with drafts,
Right.
higher energy bills, and a whole lot of discomfort.
So let's just recap what we've uncovered so far in this renovation mystery.
Okay.
We have a leaky shower,
Uh-huh.
a mysteriously leaking bathroom vent,
Yes.
a broken threshold that could hint at bigger problems.
Right.
And drafty windows that make you want to bundle up in a sweater, even indoors.
Yeah, this is starting to feel less like a renovation and more like a renovation gone wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of more than meets the eye with this Baltimore row house.
It seems that way.
And the big question is, are these isolated incidents, or are they symptoms of a larger pattern of shoddy workmanship?
That is the question.
We'll have to dig deeper to find out. Stay tuned.
All right. It's amazing how all these little problems can add up, you know? It makes
Yeah.
you wonder about the bigger picture.
Exactly. Like if they cut corners on these things we can see,
Right.
what are the things behind the walls that we can't see?
Exactly. And it really highlights how important it is to really do your homework
Yeah,
before you hire a contractor.
right.
Don't just go with the lowest bid or the website that looks the best.
Right.
Really check references.
Definitely check those references.
Read reviews. Make sure the contractor has a good track record.
Absolutely.
Make sure they're licensed.
Yeah, your home is a huge investment.
It is, yeah.
Don't leave it in the hands of somebody that's just going to like cut every corner possible.
And communication is key.
Yes.
A good contractor should be able to answer your questions. Explain what they're doing, address any concerns.
Yeah.
If they are dismissive or evasive,
Yeah,
that's a sign to walk away.
definitely a red flag.
Huge red flag, yeah.
And, back to our leaky shower mystery.
Right.
It's not just about the inconvenience of water dripping from the ceiling.
No.
It's about that potential long-term damage that can happen
Exactly.
if that water's allowed to just keep seeping in.
Mold, mildew.
Right. And those are health hazards.
They are, yes.
Not to mention the structural damage that can happen over time.
Yeah, can be a big problem.
So this report is just a good reminder
Yeah.
for anybody thinking about buying a house, renovated or not.
Yeah.
Get that pre-purchase inspection.
It is so important.
Worth every penny.
A good inspector can uncover those hidden problems, and that can give you some leverage
Yes.
during negotiations.
Yeah.
It can save you thousands in the long run and a lot of stress and headaches.
Okay, so let's circle back to that bathroom vent.
Okay.
The one that only seems to leak when it rains.
Right.
I'm really curious about this one still. Because the inspector couldn't access the roof.
Right, because of the high winds.
Yeah. So do you think there could be other issues
Potentially.
that went unnoticed?
Yeah, because of the weather.
Yeah, it's like just when you think you're in the clear,
Uh-huh.
something else pops up.
Yeah.
I think the big takeaway here is like,
Yeah.
stay calm
Yes.
and approach these situations with a problem-solving mindset.
Absolutely. Don't panic. Take a step back, look at what the problem is,
Right,
understand the potential impact,
right.
and then come up with a plan to address it.
Be proactive and informed,
Yes.
not reactive and overwhelmed.
That's a great way to put it.
So I think for anyone listening right now,
Yeah.
think about if you were a prospective buyer considering this renovated home.
Okay.
What are some red flags that you would be looking for when you're walking through?
That's a good question.
What questions would you want to ask the seller or the contractor?
Those are excellent questions, and I think something that we should definitely keep in mind
Yeah.
as we move into the final part
Yes.
of our deep dive into this property inspection report.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. We've been spending some time talking about this Baltimore row house renovation,
Right.
and it's been more like cautionary tale than dream home.
Yeah, it really has.
It seems like every time we turn around,
Right.
there's a new issue,
Yeah.
and it makes you think,
Yeah.
even if a house looks great
Right.
on the surface,
Uh-huh.
there could be all these problems hiding.
Yeah, lurking beneath the surface.
Like a tip of the iceberg, right?
Exactly.
So let's say someone's looking at a home
Okay.
and it's beautifully renovated.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them based on what we've seen in this report?
Well, first and foremost, I would say get a pre-purchase inspection from a qualified professional.
Right.
Don't skip it. Even if the house seems perfect, a good inspector will be able to spot problems that could cost you a lot of money down the road.
That's good advice.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
You see new windows, ask about how they were installed.
Right.
Ask about the materials, the insulation. Did they follow the manufacturer's guidelines?
It's your home. It's your money.
Exactly. You have a right to know.
And if a contractor doesn't want to answer those questions, red flag.
Huge red flag.
So this situation just really shows how important it is
Yeah.
to be a really informed homeowner.
Absolutely.
Do your research.
Yep.
Know your rights.
Know your rights.
Ask those tough questions.
And be prepared to advocate for yourself.
Okay, so going back to that question we asked our listener.
All right.
Imagine you're the homeowner in this Baltimore row house.
Okay.
What would your next steps be?
Well, I think the first thing is just take a deep breath.
Okay.
It can be overwhelming,
Right.
but stay calm
Right.
and then take a look at those issues. Depending on your skill level
Uh-huh.
and how complicated the problems are,
Right.
you might be able to handle some things yourself.
Okay.
Like if you're handy, you could replace that broken threshold.
Right.
You could maybe caulk around those drafty windows.
Right.
But for anything involving plumbing or electrical
Yeah.
or structural work,
Right.
call a professional.
Right. You don't want to make it worse.
Exactly. And you don't want to put yourself at risk.
And when you talk to the contractor,
Yeah,
bring all your documentation.
absolutely. Yeah.
The inspection report,
Uh-huh.
pictures,
Emails, contracts.
explain your concerns.
Yes. And be polite.
Right.
Be professional.
Hopefully the contractor will want to work with you
Well,
to
fine.
fix these things.
Right.
But if they don't,
All right.
you might have to look at other options.
Yeah, like mediation or legal action.
Sometimes you have to stand up for yourself.
You do. You have to advocate for yourself.
So we've really explored a lot of ground today, uncovered some hidden truths,
Some mysteries.
and hopefully given our listeners some confidence
Right.
to be more informed homeowners.
To make good decisions.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been fun.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive into
Right.
something new. Until then, stay curious, everyone.
Stay curious.
And we'll see you next time.